All right, so it's 27 degrees and it's pretty early in the morning. We're out here with Sport, our guy. We are going for the Scaletra Chill and Thrill Challenge again. We're gonna try to conquer that one with Sport. We've already done it with ooh, that's soft. Ground is real soft. We already did it with Trail X, which we now call the Honey Badger, because he just absolutely bullied his way through some pretty crazy terrain when we did the Chill and Thrill with him. So I don't know how much filming we're gonna get done. It's very cold, and I may want to put this camera away and put my hand in my pocket at some point rather than film. So we'll see though. But you guys should recognize Sport. He's a TRX4 Sport, and he's a pretty good trail truck. Of course, the TRX4 Portals, he began life as a Sport RTR. He's been modified pretty extensively since then. I've got a breakdown video on him if you're curious as to all the things that have been done to him, but he is, I would say mostly still a TRX4 Sport, but he has been modified quite a bit. So we've got a Hobby Wing Fusion Pro in him for a power plant. He's got a Protek 370 TBL steering servo. He's got a little winch. He's got some lights. He has the Bowhouse LCG, I guess, skid. Original TRX4 Sport transmission. Original drive shafts. Shocks have been modified. They're the original shocks, but the oil has been changed and the springs have been changed. Of course, the TRX4 Sport body, it's been kind of custom painted. And this field is pretty thick yet. Usually cut the hay here a couple of times a year. I think they only got to it once this year, so this field is a little bit thicker than it normally would be. I think it was 70 degrees here yesterday, so that's Missouri for you. 70 degree. You can be outside enjoying the weather, 70 degree weather one evening, and wake up the next morning and it's in the 20s. So that's actually not that uncommon for this time of year in Missouri. We have pretty wild temperature swings. So we're going to get up here just a little bit further, and you will see some targets. So there's some targets there. This field is about 350 yards to the far side, kind of where we came from. And I shoot these targets from there with rifles. But for now, we will do it. See if I can get this thing up high enough. Challenge you to see this on a Crawler Canyon video. So, but here we can do a little target shooting while we're trailing. Ha! That's fun. So, I recently found out that you can't trail, you can't run radio-controlled vehicles in Missouri on Missouri Department of Conservation land, which there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it around here, actually. And you also can't use radio-controlled vehicles in Missouri state parks. Or you're not supposed to, at least. And there may be specific rules about specific parks, because I do see people running these in pretty big groups in some state parks. So I think some state parks maybe have made an exception and just allow people to go ahead and run RC cars in their park, because some of them are really well suited to it, right? Some of them are, mostly rock. We have places like Elephant Rock, Johnson Shut-ins. There's a lot of Missouri state parks that have a ton of good rock. None of them are close to me, but I did do some research on some parks that are close to me, and those parks explicitly do not allow RC vehicles. So I was kind of bummed out by that. I didn't realize that. I was actually I kind of had a plan to go to a conservation area that's close to me. It wouldn't be much. I mean, there's no rock crawling there. It would just be trailing. But they have a pretty nice trail set up. It's like a 1.5 mile loop or something like that. So I thought, well, it's probably as good as trailing here on the private property that I trail on, because this is kind of boring too. I mean, there are some rocks here, so we can trail out 2 rocks. But it's not terribly exciting, right? A lot of it is this here. And you guys have seen the video, so you know what I'm talking about. A lot of it is driving through kind of field areas that aren't as entertaining as, the Crawler Canyon videos, for example. But at any rate, I was planning to hit that conservation area. That was like on my list of things to do very shortly here. And we got something loose. But anyway, as I was saying, I was going to go hit some of those. Places. One of those conservation areas specifically I had in mind. And that's when I read the regulations for that particular conservation area and realized that I wouldn't be welcome there with an RC car. And I thought, well, that's a bummer. So we're back out here on the private land, because that's kind of all there is in this part of Missouri. I said, we don't have any. Now, one of the state parks that I was considering going to that's relatively close has a lot of rocks. I've hiked the trails there before, and it's a neat place. I don't know about rock crawling, but there's definitely some rocky trails, you know, that would be fun. Would be fun to go and hit. But yeah, you can't do that. And then I saw subsequently from that, because our phones are always listening, I guess. I guess I had searched a little bit about the topic. So my phone showed me a petition that is current, as far as I understood it, to petition the Missouri Department of Conservation to allow RC trucks, RC vehicles, I guess, onto Missouri conservation lands, which I think would be good. You know, I'm a proponent, obviously. I like driving these trucks. There are a lot of conservation areas scattered throughout the state, but there are several pretty close here. None of them that I know of, and I've been to all of them, I believe, all of the close ones. Well, that's not too deep, I don't think. Nah, no problem. No problem for sport. No problem for my boots. These are Traxxas, so mountain hunting boots. They're extremely waterproof, extremely warm, extremely rugged. I've hunted elk in Colorado wearing these boots, and I've hunted mule deer in Utah with these boots, and they did perform wonderfully both times. I haven't had them for that long, but the two hunting trips I have made in them, they've done. And I've hunted whitetail here in Missouri with them as well, but I mean that hardly counts, right? That's walking out to a stand and sitting for a while. The Colorado trip especially entailed a lot of hiking, 10,000 feet and above, hiking for hours and hours each day. That was a pretty amazing hunt, actually. I might even throw a picture of the elk that I was able to harvest into this, just in case anybody's interested. And I can throw a picture of the mule deer from Utah in here as well, I suppose. But I always see Crawler Canyon, and he's got those dinky little boots, and they're always worried about water over their ankles. And I'm like, man, you need to get some different boots, because I've got boots that I could walk across that and not worry in the slightest. So driving with a glove is different. I don't care for it, honestly. Don't care for it much at all. But it's cold, so we've got gloves on both hands. The glove on my right hand, it's holding the camera. That's fine. You know, I'm just holding the end of a kind of a glorified selfie stick that has a tripod built into the base of it. But my left hand, which is controlling the vehicle, is not used to having a glove on and pulling the trigger and using the thumbstick on the steering wheel. And yeah, I don't want to say I'm struggling, but I don't know. Struggling probably wouldn't be the worst description of what's happening. I think we're gonna go this way because we want to climb. So when we come back, we'll come up that way. But we're gonna go this way because we'd rather climb a steep hill than descend it, probably. Oh, I think that stick jumped up and got my camera. So the 24 scale tire tests, I was pretty surprised. I hope that by the time you see this, they're more popular and getting more views. The ruptures got a lot of views. The first ones, which were the landmines, it didn't get that many views. And kind of unsurprising, I think the landmines are a little bit like old and busted. There's a lot newer stuff. There's a lot of new hotness out there. The landmines aren't really, you know, they're not new. They're not considered cool anymore. They still work very well. They're good tires. I've had them in 24 scale and in 10 scale. 475s. I've had them on a G-Speed chassis that I built years ago, and that's when they were kind of the new hotness, and everybody was kind of high on the landmines. And for the time, they were very good, I think. But I think there's a lot better stuff, even from J Concepts. I think J Concepts, basically every tire that's come out since the landmines is better than the landmines. But so, I mean, I kind of knew that probably wouldn't be, you know, a super searched on tire, and that, you know, it may not get the most views ever, right? So that's, you know, kind of is what it is, and I kind of expected it. I guess what surprised me was the rupture video got a bunch of views. For me, right? For my channel, it did well, right? It did better than normal. And then the rock bumps video came out, and I thought, based on the rupture video, I thought, well, this rock bumps video is gonna, you know, do even better than the ruptures. Oh, look at that. A shed antler. We got to get a picture of that. That's awesome. All right, well, we found a shed, which is pretty cool. It is, you know, late February, I guess now. So it makes sense. I've been seeing the bucks on my cameras without their antlers, so it makes sense. Just kind of looking around here close. They say that most deer lose one side, and then it's hours or days before they lose the other side. So if you don't find them both within a pretty close radius, then the other one is probably pretty far away from where you found the first one, so you're not super likely to find the other one, you know, right in that area. And I've seen a lot of bucks on camera with one antler now, so I think that pattern seems to be holding true, that they're, you know, losing one and then walking around for, you know, hours or days before they lose the other one. So the matching pair is probably, you know, not going to be just laying right there for you to find them both. So anyway, so I was talking about the rock bumps video. So I dropped the rock bumps video, and I thought, okay, landmines didn't do all that great, ruptures did pretty well. So rock bumps has got, I mean, they're a super popular tire. You know, rock bumps has got to be, it's going to do even better than ruptures, right? Like, this is going to be a good one. And it got 0 views for like 2 days or something. And then it had 9 views in 3 or 4 days. So I am baffled. I don't know what I did to piss YouTube off or to piss everybody that's watching the channel off. But I did something, because, I mean, rock bumps has to be a pretty popular search for people that are looking at tires. You know, J Concepts rock bumps are pretty popular. All the YouTubers have done videos on them. I know there are people still buying them. I know there are people still curious about how they perform. So surely, you know, people would be finding that video. And anyone who's interested in 24 scale and tire tests, I mean, there's only a couple of us doing those, right? There's very few that I can find people doing videos on 24 scale tire tests. I'm going to take a picture real quick. So I don't know. I think logic would say, if you have a product that's probably popular, right? Like I suspect J Concepts rock bumps are, and you have a lack of information out there about them. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of videos about, especially in the 24 scale, reviewing the rock bump. It would make sense that people would watch that video, that they would watch it at least as much as the rupture, right? Which is arguably maybe a more popular tire. But I mean, if you're looking at ruptures, surely you're at least considering rock bumps too, right? But maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Maybe I don't understand how it works, which is very possible, because I don't understand much, to be honest with you. But and I don't know how well this microphone's picking up either. I may have walked and talked for, you know, an hour by the end of this, and gotten basically nothing from this microphone, because I'm wearing a lot of clothes, and the outermost layer that I'm wearing is very thick, so the magnet was not really trying to hold the little mic on the outermost layer. So I'm actually one layer in on the microphone. Now my collar is opened at the top and it's up high. So I'm hoping, I have no way to check really. Well, I mean, I guess I could do a little check 1, 2 and then play it back to myself, but I'm too lazy for all that. Let's be honest. You know, we're just gonna go, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, well, you know, we'll be doing this again soon enough, and we can record it then, and we'll just make another trailing video, right? Like, another trailing video it's gonna happen whether I want it to or not. Well, I mean, I want it to, don't get me wrong, but it's gonna happen, right? Whether we need it or not, I guess is the correct way to say that. So down through the creek, this is the creek that was absolutely ripping the other day that I talked about. I mean, this creek can get up real high. Let's see, I don't think we need to be as careful. It's not nearly as deep as I thought it was. Hope I got that well enough to pull a photo from. I think I probably did. I wonder if we could run up this creek edge. We probably can for a ways at least. Let's do that. Let's run up this creek edge. So I realized, not very far into this video at all, I realized that I forgot my backpack. I was kind of in a rush to get moving because it is so cold. I wanted to start walking so that I could build up some body heat and not freeze as I was filming and trying to drive and all of those good things. So I basically took off prematurely and didn't that was close. Didn't bring my backpack. I forgot my mochila, which was not smart. So my spare battery, and that's really, I mean, I've got some tools and things, but I mean, sport's pretty buttoned up. I'm not too worried about sport, falling apart or anything like that. Though he did manage to loosen up his servo horn the last time we did this creek run, and I had to fix him before we could finish. But I've since Loctited that and kind of, corrected that issue, I think. And look at this deer trail coming right out of here. See that kind of path right there? And there's one that kind of cuts over this way too. I think we're going to take this one. That's an armadillo hole. But I'm not too worried about sport like breaking down on us. But I do know that the last time we did this, and I think it was roughly the same distance, I was just almost out of battery by the time we got done. So I have a spare battery in that backpack, and I don't have that backpack. So hopefully, I mean, he still feels like he's got lots of power. So I'm not too concerned about it, and we're getting relatively close. And I've carried things heavier than sport on much longer journeys than this, so it's not like it would be the end of the world if I had to pick him up and carry him. But I'd rather not. I'd rather he finish the chill and thrill challenge before he dies, before the battery dies. Of course, he's not going to die. He's doing just fine. But when we get down here, we're going to get down to a shaded spot, not too far, maybe 100 yards or so. And I'm going to pause again. I'm going to get on the Scaletra, and I'm going to find out how far we've gone, because we may need to make a loop around this field up here or something to kind of pad our distance so that we are sure to complete that challenge before we get back to the place where we started. So as soon as we pull up into the shade here, I'm going to pause, and we will see what kind of distance we've logged up until now. Okay, so I think that challenge is 1.2 miles, which it must be 2 kilometers. I think that's right. And we're at like 1.1. So I think by the time we get over there, so that's a coyote track right there, plain as day. Another, he's going this way, he's going the same way we're going. That's an older track. It was not, Another coyote. And this is a bobcat here, I believe. Yeah, I think that's a bobcat there. There he is again. So, lots of tracks in this little area. Interesting. Lots of little tracks around here. There was some raccoon tracks back there. We found bobcat, coyote, obviously white-tailed deer. There's tons of those tracks. Basically anywhere around here where you can find mud for them to leave a track, you'll almost certainly find a white-tailed deer track. Ooh, and we are really slowing down now, so we may be having a problem with the battery. I can't see. We've got a little bit of a downhill coming up, so hopefully we can just kind of creep our way through here. I thought this might be a problem. Oh, yep, and he just quit. Doggone it. Well, for the last little bit here, I think we're just gonna have to carry him. So, fun. Yeah, and if I had that other battery, this would have been easy. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording because it doesn't make any sense to keep recording. And maybe we'll talk about it when we get back. So there he is. Just to finish this one up, you're all sworn to secrecy on the carrying of sport for the last bit of that challenge. Actually, I think it's fair and square. So that challenge is like 1.2 miles, and it turned out I think I hit 1.43 total. And there's no way I carried him for more than 0.2 of a mile. I think I carried him for like probably right at 0.2 of a mile. So I think he completed the challenge fair and square. He just kind of crapped out there as soon as the challenge was completed as far as distance. So he's got his Scaletra trophy now to go along with the Honey Badger Trail X's. He's a good guy. It's not his fault that his driver is a dummy and forgot the extra battery pack, and he was unable to make it under his own power all the way back to the start gate. But anyway, there he is. There's his find for the day, his little shed antler there. So anyway, thanks guys.